Hello everyone, it's Blazer again here, and I'm recording this late at night, but I just really wanted to get this one out of the way. And it is, the usual. It's a video where I go through the games I bought throughout the month, and in this case it's the games I bought throughout August of 2024, where I'm going to be going through the games, give my thoughts and quick opinions on the games that I've been buying throughout all of August 2024. And I've got plenty to talk about, where I'm going to be talking about the games I bought and also the games I got for my birthday. So, without further ado, I'm going to be showcasing first the games I got for my birthday, and these are 3 games. One for the PlayStation 4, one for the PlayStation 1, and one for the Game Boy Advance. And to start off is the PlayStation 4 game, Magleam Lord. I cannot pronounce the title of this game to save my life, and I have the PlayStation 4 version here. I'm not sure this has the PlayStation 5 upgrade option when I eventually get the PS5, but regardless, here it is. It's the action RPG straight from the depths of hell, and I picked this one up for my birthday, and it's an okay JRPG game where you're playing as this overlord who's lost his power and has to tag along with some other characters to regain his lost power. And it's an okay game, action JRPG, although I do need to take some time to really get to know it and play it. So yeah, it's alright, and I did get the Tales of Series deco skins, which includes Stan and Leon Swordian skins for weapons from the Tales of Destiny, Ashura's sword from Tales of Innocence, and Shing's sword from Tales of Hearts. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. And here's a PlayStation 1 game which I did spend a bit of the hours playing. Delta Force Urban Warfare. I have the Delta Force games originally on PC. Delta Force 1, Delta Force 2, and Delta Force Land Warrior, I believe, which were large, expansive open maps where you're around with your squads and you tackle objectives, clear out areas. Yeah, and it was good. And then they made a PlayStation 1 game, which instead of having expansive large areas, it's a more confined closed indoor areas, and you're playing as one man. This one is okay. Like, I don't mind this one all that much, and it is a PS1 game, like a really old like an old PlayStation 1 game released late into its console life, which does have more console focused first person shooter control scheme. And it has mission structures, but not very great combat, because enemies take a ton of bullets before they go down. And you have to use the ADS, the zoom, or the zoom I should say. And this game does allow me to set the controls up on my Hori FPS controller, which will allow you to have it on the control scheme I want. So yeah, it kind of works out fine for me. I can at least edit the controls to my liking, like having R1, R2 for firing instead of its default control scheme to R1. So it's alright. Like, you still can't go. Just that it just got released late in its life. And by then there were better shooters on the PlayStation 2 that were out, and Urban Warfare just got ignored, and for good reason. Alright, last one of the birthday games, Duke Nukem Advance. Box is a bit scuffy there, and there's no label. I'll have to write a label on it later. Yeah, which is kind of a bummer, but I can deal with that. But anyway, Duke Nukem Advance is another FPS game, a first-person shooter I got, and this one's on the Game Boy Advance. It takes advantage of the Game Boy Advance limitations and capabilities, and it's alright. It's pretty impressive that they got a Duke Nukem game on the Game Boy Advance. And the levels are pretty good, even though it's just a lot of closed off areas, closed off indoor areas. Certain parts of the game are just confined and so on, but still, it's on a Game Boy Advance and you can't really fault it. And I find it, and whenever I see 3D done on the Game Boy, especially the Game Boy Advance, it's really impressive stuff. And I've really been getting into the Game Boy Advance 3D games, and I'm going to start searching out for these Game Boy Advance 3D games and see which ones impress me the most. Alright, so that's the games I had for my birthday, and now I'm going to start talking about what I did purchase throughout all of August. So first of all, I bought a new light magnifier for my Game Boy Advance. The other one broke, so I bought a new one, and yeah, it works. I put some new batteries in it, and it does its job pretty well. And I did buy an all-new plug for my GBA, and this is the master plug adapter, which has multiple charge plug options, such as I can go 3V, 4V, 4V.5V, 5V, 6V, 9V, 12V, so forth, and I can just choose, whatever little tiny piece connector I can have. I'm just gonna leave it in there. There you go. And like so. Oh, that's it. Here it is. Let's get my Game Boy Advance, and as usual, it plugs into the battery grip, and plug it in, set it to 3B, you know, as is noted on the device, and turn it on, and then you get the magic. It'll turn on and it'll start charging, or in my battery grips case, it's not going to charge up anymore because the battery on it is dried out. And I'm not really sure how you can replace the battery on it with a new one. I need to know like the battery it uses, these old battery grips use. And if you guys can tell me what type of battery the Joyetech battery grip uses, I would be grateful. No, I would be fairly grateful. So I'm just gonna show very quickly. Very quickly what this does. So here it is. Is the thing on? Is the thing on? Turn the thing on. There you go. You can see the screen on my Game Boy Advance. I'm not going to bother turning the thing on to show you, but it's just to give you a little quick demonstration of what the Master Plug does. And do I like the Master Plug? Yeah, it's better than the other plug I bought. I wanted to buy I wanted to find a longer one, and the Argos apparently had one in. Had one of those Master Plug things on, and I checked it, and yeah, it had exactly the plug I need. What type of connector I needed to make my Game Boy Advance work. So yeah, that's a really good thing there. So yeah, it works. Just that I can only get this thing to work with the adapter plugged in. Alright, so let's then begin with some games. Here's the next one. On PlayStation 3, I picked up Beyond Two Souls for £1.50. I picked it up pretty cheap. This is a game from Quantic Dreams, the same developers are behind Heavy Rain. And I've only played the prologue. It is a game following this girl who has extraordinary powers and such. I haven't really played the game into it to know exactly what's going on. But maybe when I do play it, I'll understand it. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased I got it for very cheap. I think I also got the PlayStation 4 version of it as well on my PlayStation Plus subscription, but I might like to get the physical version if I can. Alright, next game. And it's a very nutty one. And it's Galgun Double Peace. This is a rail shooter type game, played but without a light gun controller. And it's a game where you're some guy who's going to a school that's full of girls, and one day you get hit by an angel girl's Cupid arrow that overpowers you with a love struck so hard that every single girl comes after you, and your curse is, and your goal is to find a girl that you want to go with. Like, choose from either this girl, that girl, or any other girl that you like the most, all within a single day. Otherwise you end up being loveless. Yeah, unable to be loved by anyone. It's nutty. It's an absolutely nutty game, and it's hilarious. It was one of the games that, because it was imported from Japan so much by so many people, that we got the sequel. and it eventually got the original got remastered or remade. It got a sequel, and then it got Galgun 2. Then it got the original game on the PS3 got remastered or remade for the new consoles, like on the Nintendo Switch, like later or something. Like, I haven't followed the series to know. Alright, next one I have some GameCube titles. First of all, first one, Star Wars Jedi Outcast. One of the best Star Wars games of all time, where it continues on from Kyle Katarn's perspective after Dark Forces 1 and Dark Forces 2. This one follows after the first two Dark Forces games, where Kyle Katarn, his partner, gets killed and he has to take up the force of the lightsaber again to strike back against the the Imperials. And you do meet up with characters like Luke, like teaming up alongside Luke Skywalker. Like, it's really incredible stuff. And yeah, it starts out slow, like it's typical in like your typical first-person shooter stuff. But once you get the lightsaber and the Force powers, the game really does open up, and it really becomes like an incredible Jedi simulator. And I have got this game on the PlayStation 4, but I wanted to get it for the Nintendo GameCube because the PlayStation 4 version doesn't have the multiplayer AI bot support, whereas this version of it does support it. So I kind of wanted it just for that alone. And the GameCube version actually does play pretty well. Next, I bought 007 Agent Under Fire. A game in the James Bond universe, where instead of releasing a James Bond game based on one of the James Bond movies, it's from when developers decided to do original James Bond games that aren't based on any of the films. So it's an original James Bond game, one of the earliest for the PS2, GameCube, Xbox platform, and it's a really good one. Before things got better when they made Nightfire. And yeah, it's a really, really good one. I think my brother had this on GameCube, and now I've got my own copy. Right, and the last GameCube game I bought this month is 13. This is a game based on a Belgian comic book series of the same name, where you're playing as a Messianic guy who's caught up in a conspiracy, and he's forgotten his identity, and he has to try and retrace his steps to know of his past, whilst also confronting a government conspiracy comprised of 20 hidden individuals or something like that. I haven't gotten into this game too far to know the story yet. Like, I'm only like the first hour or two in. I know I'm on the mission right now I'm on the mission where I've got to locate I've got to rescue Carrington from some soldiers who've broken into the Pentagon or whatever place it is that he's held captive in. And it does feature the what is it? The voices of Adam West on it, in it as well, and it's really good stuff. I've heard I have seen that there's a remake on it for like the new consoles, like the PlayStation 4, Xbox, and all that, and I've seen it. It's trash. The remake of it is trash. And I've watched a video review of the remake on G-Man Lives' channel. You only need to watch the G-Man Lives' channel just to see how bad the remake really is. And even though they fixed it, they got a new developer who worked. They had a new developer to fix a lot of the problems that the remake had. But play the original. But seriously, all that's accomplished is getting people to be more aware of the original version of 13, like the original classic 2003 version of it, which you could buy on consoles for way cheaper, or on Steam, which is a far better deal than buying the crappy remake. Seriously, the remake sucks, and I don't even want to bother with that. I would rather play this over the remake just any day. Alright, and the last thing I bought recently, which was just today in fact, is I bought in a Game Boy game, and it is Tetris Attack. It's the Game Boy version of a Super Nintendo game, where it's sliding panels, not puzzle pieces dropping from the top. You wanna know why? It's not a Tetris game. It's a reworked puzzle. It's a reskinned puzzle game of a Japanese game called Panel D Pon. Panel D Pon? Yeah, that's it. Panel D Pon. And there was a Game Boy version of it, of the game as well. Where when the English version of Panel D Pon was released, it changed a lot of the design of it and the look of it. But namely, it was reskinned to be a Yoshi game. Because like the Pixie Fairies, whatever, would not have appealed to Westerners at the time. And it's now actually part of the what can be called the Puzzle League game series, which would follow with Pokemon Puzzle League and Puzzle League on Game Boy Advance, and also Puzzle League DS, which would this series be called from this point in the West from this point onward. So you guess you could say this is before they started calling it Puzzle League. The game that came out before they decided to name the series Puzzle League, because this is not a Tetris game, it's an entirely different puzzle game altogether. But still, it's a really fun game. I actually picked it up pretty cheap. And anybody who likes sliding puzzle games will actually get a kick out of this one, and it's really a good one and fitting for the Game Boy's library. Alright, so that is all the games I bought this month. Now, I'm going to give you some quick announcements. I'm not going to really be buying Xbox games anymore, unless the games are exclusive to it and they work on my Xbox 360. Biggest reason is because I'm feeling more for the PlayStation consoles now. And I know that possibly one day, someday, whatever day, any of these old Xbox games are going to eventually make their way to the PlayStation, because, you know, Microsoft is really changing their marketing plan and making the Xbox fall so hard, because they're going multi-platform. And the moment I read an article about it, I was just like very disappointed. Like, I'm really disappointed in you, Microsoft, and making the Xbox brand fall so hard. Like, it's super disappointing. And what is it? A lot of those and about the original Xbox games that I used to buy, some of them, or at least a percentage of them, do not work on the Xbox 360. I mean, there's some games I've got on the Xbox, the original Xbox I got that works on the Xbox 360 no problem. Like, obviously the Halo games, Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1, Doom 3, Max Payne 2, Wolfenstein, Serious Sam, The Suffering 1, The Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, but yeah, and someday soon, some of those will eventually just get emulations that are gonna cut, and PlayStation 2 emulations of those games that's going to be on PlayStation 4. Well, minus Morrowind, obviously, because Morrowind didn't come out on PS2. Yeah, so I'm only just going to be buying Xbox versions of games if they are exclusive to it, and solely be focusing more on PlayStation and occasionally GameCube if it's like no other options. And yeah, and I started getting back into the Wii as well. The Wii is a good console and an excellent GameCube player, as I really do enjoy doing stuff on the GameCube. And I'm still going to be doing Game Boy things, because I still want to customize I may want to customize my Game Boy Advance eventually in future. Like mod it to have backlight, maybe change the color of my shell on it, and so forth. And I'm currently boosting now on Battlefield 3. With me eventually boosting on Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline on PlayStation 3 before November 7th, before the servers go down on that. And yeah, that's about it. So this is what that's going to do for me for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Give it a comment, like, and subscribe. And stay tuned for other videos that I will upload in the future. So cheers to you and goodbye.